Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have The Incredibles 2 Juniors 10761 Great Home Escape, 178 pieces, and retails for $30. Comes with 3.5 minifigures, and this set was released alongside The Incredibles 2 movie, appropriately. Was one of 3 junior sets to be released for, this movie, and we've got a couple little smaller builds, so let's take a look at each of them individually. The first build here is this van, driven by Brick, one of the new supers introduced in the movie. I have seen the movie already, so there may be some minor spoilers throughout this review, but they're going to be very minor, including the one about this character, which I'll mention later. She does show up, they do show up in a van, sort of like this, but this is very, this does not look very much like it, and you do have a bunch of these brick pieces, which are just cool to have as, parts, but the point is you're supposed to have the catapult feature, and Brick can stand there, and you can launch bricks. That doesn't really happen in the movie, but, I think it adds a little bit of playability to this little vehicle. I don't remember this vehicle super clearly, so I don't know if it actually had a catapult on it. But, it is built around the Junior's car base, and it has one of these new roll bar elements, which is new for me, so that's cool. And we've got 2 new printed pieces, one of these 1x4 curved slope pieces, and then one of these 2x4 45-degree slopes with some printing on there. And, it looks okay, but it's a Junior's car, so it's not too detailed and doesn't look all that great. But it's got a decent amount of playability for what it is. And there are 2 little builds representing the exterior of the house, and you've got this pool and this little lawn chair. The pool has a bunch of these cylinders in it for no real reason. Kind of representing water, I guess, but still a little bit weird. You do have this little life preserver ring, as well as this umbrella piece, which is an exclusive print to this set currently. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it more often. There was a pool prominently featured, in the house scenes. It was obviously a lot bigger than this, and I don't remember an umbrella this color. There was an umbrella that was kind of important, but I think it was green. And you do have the ladder going into the pool. I think that it's decent. I don't have a problem with this being added as an extra build, but it's not super great looking. The little lawn chair is a little bit cooler, I think. I think it looks pretty nice just on its own. It does lean a little bit far back, but that's part of a play feature, and you get one of these fence pieces as well. And the other thing we get here is this orange juice, 1x1 brick. And the point here, you're supposed to put a figure on there, and then you can flip it and launch it because it's on a Technic pin, and your figure will go flying. So you could use that against Brick's catapult. There's also this little boulder with Jack inside. This is kind of supposed to be a little force field thing. I don't remember seeing him use an orange force field thing. He catches himself on fire a lot. So I have to assume that that's what this is representing, because I just can't think of anything else. But Jack is a little baby. I'll just jump to you now. Instead of with the figures later, he has the newer mold for the head that has the little neck, and his printing on there is good. I originally was concerned that they didn't have the Incredibles logo on his chest printed, because that would have been really nice, but he actually spends more of the movie in this plain red colored suit, so this was actually more accurate than I was expecting. So, I've got to give it some props for that. It is cool to get him. I kind of wish we'd gotten a little hair, like a specially molded head mold with some hair on top, just because it's kind of an important part of his look, but I think that this is still recognizable as Jack Jack. So the rest of the build is this house. That's kind of what the Great Home Escape refers to. The roof is sloped, so Dash can use the skateboard. I don't remember skateboard from the movie, but I believe orange is a relatively uncommon color for it. And it's obviously got the wheels, that do spinning. And this back wall piece is one big large part, all in white. It's got places for 3 panels, so you could move the door. The door is interchangeable. They're all the same size, but the door just opens like that, and those are just locked in. I kind of like that. I think that's actually a decent part for a big juniors piece. We've got this lamp over here, a little plant. I like the brick textures on these walls. I don't know, I just think it looks good, to be honest. And right up here is a little drawer, which inside of it has a printed, remote piece, kind of. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be, but it could represent a particular remote from the movie that was relatively important and had something to do with a vehicle. I won't say too much about it. But there's also this phone, which there's actually, this is kind of a thing in the movie. I don't remember if they had one specifically for The Incredibles, but they did have phones that were big and red like this, and they had logos on them. So, that's cool, and you can pick up the phone. So I'm actually happy with that. This couch is a little bit plain, but you can fit a figure on it pretty well. I would have preferred to see it maybe 1 stud wider, because that would have allowed you to, fit 2 figures on it comfortably. This you can fit 2 figures on, but you have to kind of squeeze them together. And I thought in the movie the couches were a little bit more of a reddish orange, and I would have said they were closer to red, but I think that orange works, in comparison to the red plastic of the figures. And couches were actually kind of important, so again, I'm impressed with how much they got in here. This is probably my favorite little feature. We've got this wall with a portrait of the Incredibles. That's an exclusive printed tile, and there's a fireplace underneath, and you can slide that to the side, and it will reveal this little Incredibles, top secret, hidden thing. That's a printed brick as well, and that's all one piece right there. And you can just slide that back and forth. It isn't attached, it's not on a rail or anything, so you can just pull it out completely, which is kind of disappointing. There's no way to lock it in place, but, it is what it is. Got these rocks on this side, which are alright. And then up here you'll notice you have a slide, and this little waterfall. Again, water is actually kind of important in the house design, so, all you have to do is lift that up, and you can slide a figure out. It would have been nice if you could access that slide from the interior of the house instead of having to go through the door with your figure to get to the slide. But, it's a junior set, so I think kids will still find that fun, even though it kind of doesn't make too much sense. The other thing you could do is just turn this around so that the waterfall was facing the exterior. But overall, I think that they've got some good, important elements of the house in here. Even though, it doesn't look super similar to the movie, a lot of the important elements are here, actually, and I was very impressed with that. Also, I did want to point this out because it's the first time I've encountered this new piece. It's the new little 1x1 flower, so that's cool. You got 2 in regular green as well as 1 extra. And first I want to start with the disappointing figure. This is Brick. She is a character in the movie, and she's not a bad character. I didn't dislike her. She wasn't super important. She was kind of minor and a side character. But, I didn't mind her, and it's nice to have the character in Lego form. However, this figure looks absolutely nothing like the character from the movie. Because in the movie, she is pretty big. She's larger than the average figure. Her hair looks nothing like this. She does have brick patterns on her torso, but it's not really like this. This figure has to have been based on concept art, because it looks nothing similar. I would have preferred to see Void included in the place of this character, because she's the only one of the new supers that was created as a figure. I think Void was a more interesting character, and I think it would have been easier to replicate with existing Lego parts. Maybe the hair would have required a new mold, which is probably the reason why they didn't do it, but I mean, to be honest, this character needed to be a big fig in order to work properly, so I think any of the other new supers would have made a better figure than this. So I'm kind of let down. It's not an awful looking figure or character, it's just not accurate at all whatsoever. And then we've got Dash and Violet, and these are great figures. I think they did a great job with them. Dash comes with his water gun, which nice to get this piece. Water guns didn't really have any importance in the movie. Jack Jack, again, just so you can see all three of them. All three of the kids are included in this set. And Jack Jack probably does spend most of his time with these two. I think, yeah, probably. But both these figures are pretty good. I like Dash's dual molded legs. Those are exclusive to this set. I believe Violet's legs are the same as Mrs. Incredible. I don't think there's any difference, and if there is, it's very, very subtle. Their torsos are different, though, so Violet's torso is exclusive to her. Violet gets a new hairpiece. Dash has an existing one, albeit relatively uncommon color. I think it was only otherwise used for Clone Wars Palpatine. And Violet's hairpiece has the headband, which is cool. It is kind of specifically based on her superhero appearance. Like, none of these figures have faces without masks, actually, but she does have her hair in front of her eyes, which is kind of a big thing in the first movie, but not in the second, so I think it's appropriate. Dash has some freckles on his face. Violet's face is good, and they both have alternate faces. Violet being a little worried, and Dash just still smiling. And neither of them have back printing on the torso, but with the nature of the designs of these suits, I don't think it was warranted, really. And I think that, the dual molding on the legs and the arms makes up for it. I think they still look good from the back. So, I'm very, very happy with these two figures, and I think that they're great. Also, Violet has this printed force field dish, which is really, really cool. It looks good. It's a brand new design. The only thing that puzzles me is the fact that they used a shield piece instead of those new 1x1 stud with the bar attachment on the back at a 90-degree angle. It's pretty much exactly the same thing as this, except it doesn't look like a shield, and they're usually used in trans clear. I think that would have worked better here, because you would have been able to see through more of the force field. But I have a feeling that they just assumed that that was too small for, the age range that these junior sets are targeted at. But, again, very happy to have these two and Jack Jack. So, cool little collection of figures here. And I think that they are a real highlight to the set. And there is just one instruction booklet included with the set. It's the junior's instruction booklet. It's a little bit easier to build. You do have this ad for the Incredibles video game in the back, as well as this short little comic strip, which doesn't do too much, and it does hint that this is supposed to be the ball of fire surrounding Jack Jack and not like some other sort of force field, which I guess makes sense, and I assume that correctly. It just doesn't look super great here in person. But anyway, overall, I would say that for the target audience, this set is a fun set, and it's got some good stuff. It does not look that great on display, but, it's a junior set, so you kind of have to expect that, which is unfortunate, and I would have loved to see this as a system set, but, you just kind of got to work with what you got here. For $30, I don't think this is a bad deal. I do think that there are some great figures, and that's a real highlight of the set. These three, Brick is a major disappointment, to be honest. And the actual build is okay. I kind of like some elements of the interior here, but the pool is relatively bland and boring. You know, it's not not bad, but not good. This I don't mind this. The car, no, bad. And kind of this slide is not that good, but you know, you get some good parts and good minifigures. I'd say if you could get this for $20, this is a fantastic deal. But you know, for $30, if you really like the Incredibles and really want the figures, I'd say it's probably worth it, because to be honest, on the aftermarket, like on eBay or BrickLink, the figures probably sell for $30 alone. So, and that's probably an exaggeration of sorts, but each one of these is probably $10. I haven't looked into this, so you know, take that with a grain of salt. But I imagine that most of the value of the set lies in these two figures, and Jack actually. But you know, it's the rest of it isn't all bad, and I do really like the printed elements, like this tile and the Incredibles phone. So, hope you guys enjoyed this quick little review. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below, and I will definitely recommend that you go check out The Incredibles 2 in theaters. It's a really good movie, and it definitely lives up to the first one. I don't know if I can say it was better, but it was a really good movie, especially the short that came before it. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this little review here of The Incredibles 2, Great Home Escape. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.